to do. We love each other, but we're just not close at all. Well,
In a world where marriage is often seen as the ultimate symbol of love and trust, the hidden secrets of a respected marriage counselor, Dr. Doug Weiss, have shaken that ideal. Known for his work in healing relationships, Dr. Weiss built a career on guiding couples through their struggles. But behind his public image, a much darker truth has emerged, revealing complexities that challenge the very foundation of his professional and personal life. Join us as we explore the unexpected journey of Dr. Weiss, uncovering the layers of grief, betrayal, and the true cost of secrecy in relationships. Doug Weiss, a life dedicated to restoring marriages. Dr. Doug Weiss is a name that has been synonymous with marriage restoration for over 3 decades. As a counselor, author, and expert in sexual recovery and intimacy anorexia, Weiss has built a reputation as one of the leading authorities in his field. Throughout his career, he has helped countless individuals and couples navigate the most challenging aspects of their relationships, including infidelity, addiction, and emotional disconnection. His therapeutic approach is rooted in deep empathy, evidence-based methods, and a commitment to helping couples build lasting connections. The rise of Doug Weiss, Weiss's journey toward becoming a respected marriage counselor, began with a passion for understanding human behavior and the complexities of intimate relationships. He recognized early on that relationships were central to human well-being, and that addressing the struggles couples face could lead to profound healing and personal growth. Throughout his career, Weiss earned a range of certifications, including Sexual Recovery Therapist, SRT, and Partner Recovery Therapist, PRT. These credentials positioned him as a specialist in addressing sexual addiction and the recovery process for individuals whose partners have been affected by these struggles. His therapeutic expertise has made him a sought-after professional, and his insight into the challenges couples face has reached a wide audience. In addition to his hands-on therapy work, Doug Weiss is also a prolific author and speaker. He has penned over 40 books and produced more than 30 therapeutic DVDs, each designed to educate, empower, and guide couples toward healthier, more fulfilling relationships. His work has resonated with millions of people worldwide, and his appearances on major television platforms such as Oprah, Dr. Phil, and Good Morning America have solidified his reputation as a relationship expert. Through his extensive body of work, Weiss became known not only as a counselor, but as a beacon of hope for couples navigating the tumultuous waters of troubled marriages. He portrayed a picture of a man who had cracked the code to successful, thriving relationships, a person whose personal and professional lives seemed in perfect harmony. For many, Doug Weiss represented the epitome of marital success, someone whose teachings could heal even the most broken relationships. A picture-perfect marriage, the life of Doug and Lisa Weiss. In his professional life, Doug Weiss was the embodiment of relationship success, but his personal life seemed to mirror the ideals he championed. His marriage to Lisa Weiss, a gifted novelist and storyteller, appeared to be the culmination of his beliefs about love, mutual respect, and partnership. Together, they seemed like the perfect couple, a pair who had built a life centered on shared values and a mutual desire to help others. Their marriage, which lasted for over 3 decades, was presented as an example of commitment, devotion, and perseverance. Doug and Lisa's love story began at the Heart to Heart Counseling Center, where Doug was already making a name for himself as a relationship expert. Lisa, deeply involved in the world of storytelling and writing, shared Doug's passion for helping others, and their connection grew quickly. Together, they shared both a professional mission and a personal bond that seemed unbreakable. Theirs was a partnership that many admired and even envied, one that was the envy of both colleagues and clients alike. Over the years, the couple's life seemed like a carefully crafted narrative, one filled with triumphs, laughter, and shared successes. Doug's work in marriage counseling flourished, and Lisa supported him both personally and professionally, serving as a grounding presence in his life. To the outside world, Doug and Lisa Weiss were the perfect example of what a marriage should be: loving, harmonious, and successful. They were living proof that the ideals Doug espoused in his counseling sessions were not only achievable, but could be sustained for a lifetime. The illusion of perfection. However, beneath the surface of this seemingly perfect marriage, Cracks began to form. Over the years, despite their outward display of unity, Doug and Lisa encountered their own marital struggles. These struggles were kept private, hidden behind the public persona of a successful marriage counselor and his equally successful partner. The challenges they faced, the personal trials that weighed on their relationship, were never fully revealed, leaving many to assume that their union was an ideal to be emulated. Behind closed doors, the realities of their marriage were far more complex. As Doug continued to help others overcome their relationship struggles, he and Lisa quietly dealt with their own issues. The emotional toll of maintaining their public image while facing personal difficulties began to take its toll. For years, Lisa supported Doug's work, but eventually, the growing distance between them became impossible to ignore. Their personal struggles were only amplified by the pressures of Doug's professional life, and their relationship was tested in ways that would have been unimaginable to the public. When the announcement of their divorce came after 30 years of marriage, it shocked those who knew them. The suddenness of the announcement, particularly after such a long and seemingly successful marriage, was startling. It was particularly difficult for those who had relied on Doug's counsel and wisdom, as they had believed in his ability to navigate the complexities of relationships. The end of his marriage raised questions not only about his personal life, but also about the consistency between his teachings and his own experiences. The rapid transition, Doug's new marriage to Joni Lamb. In the wake of his divorce from Lisa, Doug Weiss's personal life took an unexpected turn. Just months after the dissolution of his marriage, Doug remarried, this time to Joni Lamb, a well-known figure in Christian broadcasting. Joni was the co-founder and executive producer of Daystar Television Network, a global Christian television platform that reaches millions of viewers worldwide. As a prominent leader in the faith-based community, Joni had established herself as a powerful voice in media, dedicating her life to spreading messages of hope, faith, and inspiration. Joni's journey, however, was not without its own share of grief and loss. In 2021, her husband, Marcus Lamb, the founder of Daystar, passed away after a battle with COVID-19. His death left Joni in a state of profound grief, one that would challenge her both personally and professionally. However, despite her sorrow, Joni continued to lead Daystar with unwavering dedication, honoring Marcus's legacy by carrying forward the mission of the network. The timing of Doug and Joni's relationship raised eyebrows, with many questioning how quickly they had moved from their respective losses to a new marriage. The rapid pace of their union led some to speculate about the nature of their connection and whether it had been influenced by the grief they both experienced. Critics wondered if their bond had developed too quickly and whether their new relationship was a healthy response to their personal tragedies or a means of moving past the pain too hastily. A marriage under scrutiny. Doug and Joni's marriage quickly became a subject of intense public scrutiny. For some, the union appeared to be a natural result of two people who had experienced significant loss, finding comfort in each other. Supporters of the couple pointed to their shared faith and the way they seemed to understand one another's grief. They saw their connection as a testament to resilience, a reminder that love could emerge even in the midst of hardship. However, for many, the rapidity of the relationship raised red flags. Doug Weiss had spent decades counseling couples on the importance of healing before entering into new relationships. His advice to clients had always stressed the necessity of emotional recovery, patience, and understanding in the wake of a breakup or loss. The speed with which Doug entered into his new relationship with Joni seemed to contradict the very principles he had built his career upon. It raised uncomfortable questions about the wisdom of moving forward so quickly after experiencing such significant personal changes. Lisa Weiss speaks out. A different perspective. Amid the public attention surrounding Doug and Joni's marriage, Lisa Weiss began to share her perspective on the dissolution of her marriage to Doug. In a series of interviews and personal statements, Lisa revealed details about her marriage that painted a different picture of the man many had admired. Her disclosures shed light on the struggles they faced behind closed doors, providing a more nuanced understanding of Doug's character and the complexities of their relationship. Lisa described how she had shouldered much of the emotional weight in their marriage, even as Doug's professional success grew. Her revelations highlighted the emotional toll their relationship had taken on her, and the pain she felt when it ended so abruptly. For Lisa, The public transition to Doug's new marriage to Joni felt like a betrayal. The swift pace of his new union, particularly after 30 years of marriage, deepened her sense of loss and left her feeling as though their shared history had been erased. The collision of public and private lives, the marriage of Doug Weiss and Joni Lamb, became a collision of public and private lives. As two high-profile figures in their respective fields, their union was bound to attract attention. But the rapid transition from Doug's divorce to his new marriage invited harsh criticism, particularly from those who had followed his career closely. Critics questioned the sincerity of Doug's actions, pointing out the contradiction between his public persona as a relationship expert and his private choices. For those who had been inspired by Doug's teachings, his personal life presented a complex and, at times, uncomfortable paradox. How could someone who had built a career on promoting healing, patience, and emotional recovery so quickly embrace a new relationship? For many, it felt as though Doug had abandoned the very principles he had spent years advocating. A legacy rewritten, navigating a new life. As Doug and Joni navigate their new life together, they face the difficult task of reconciling their personal and professional narratives. For Doug, the remarriage represents both a new beginning and a challenge to his long-established reputation as a marriage expert. His work continues to impact couples, but the questions raised about his personal life serve as a reminder that even the most respected relationship counselors are not immune to the complexities of love, loss, and healing. Lisa Weiss's decision to speak out and share her side of the story provides a broader understanding of the emotional labor often hidden behind closed doors. Her courage highlights the difficult reality of marriage, love, and loss, and serves as a reminder that not every relationship is as perfect as it may seem. For Doug and Joni, the future remains uncertain. Their journey together, while rooted in shared faith, invites both support and criticism. Their story serves as a powerful case study in the complexities of human relationships, and a reminder that even the most experienced counselors must grapple with the challenges of love, loss, and personal transformation. Doug Weiss, a pillar of marital healing. Dr. Doug Weiss is a name that has become synonymous with marital healing, especially in the realms of sexual addiction, intimacy, anorexia, and partner recovery. As a therapist, educator, and author, Doug has spent over 3 decades dedicated to helping couples restore their relationships and build healthier connections. His work, which is grounded in the belief that open communication, emotional intimacy, and personal growth are essential components of a strong relationship, has helped countless individuals and couples work through some of the most difficult challenges they face. Doug's expertise is well recognized in the world of relationship counseling, and his presence on high-profile platforms such as Oprah, Dr. Phil, and Good Morning America elevated his status as a leading expert in marital restoration. Doug Weiss's professional life is defined by his vast experience and numerous qualifications. He holds certifications as a sexual recovery therapist, SRT, and a partner recovery therapist, PRT, which uniquely equip him to address both sides of the equation in relationships affected by addiction and emotional disconnect. In addition to his practical work, Doug has written more than 40 books and produced over 30 therapeutic DVDs that have reached millions across the globe. His books and seminars, often offering practical advice and personal anecdotes, have become invaluable tools for couples seeking help. His reputation as a counselor, with a deep understanding of human vulnerability and the complexities of emotional and sexual intimacy, was built not just on academic knowledge, but on decades of real-world application and unwavering dedication to his clients. However, as much as Doug Weiss has been lauded for his professional expertise, his personal life would later become the subject of scrutiny, opening up a discussion about the very challenges he helped others navigate. Doug's marriage to Lisa Weiss, which had been viewed by many as a model of commitment and partnership, began to crumble in a way that seemed almost contradictory to the ideals Doug preached. The public shock that followed their divorce only deepened the intrigue surrounding their relationship and Doug's own struggles. How could the man who dedicated his life to restoring marriages fail to preserve his own? Lisa Weiss, a silent supporter, and then a voice of her own. For much of her marriage, Lisa Weiss was a background figure in the story of Doug's professional success. While Doug's career flourished, Lisa supported him quietly, providing the emotional backbone that allowed him to focus on his clients and write his books. She was often mentioned in interviews as a supportive wife, but her own life was largely overshadowed by Doug's public persona. The couple seemed to have it all: marital harmony, professional success, and a shared vision for helping others. Yet, as time wore on, the reality of their relationship began to deteriorate. Lisa's role as the longtime supportive spouse eventually led to her own feelings of invisibility within the marriage. As Doug became more involved with his work, the emotional and intimate connection they once shared began to erode. Lisa described feeling like she was slowly losing her husband to his career, a feeling of emotional abandonment that was compounded by Doug's increasing focus on his professional obligations. It wasn't about the fights or the arguments, Lisa later shared in interviews. It was about the growing sense that he wasn't present anymore, emotionally or physically. It was like I was living with a stranger. This emotional distance was not the result of overt conflict, but rather the subtle withdrawal of Doug from their relationship. For years, Lisa remained silent about her pain, choosing instead to maintain the public image of a happy and successful marriage. But after their divorce and Doug's swift remarriage to Joni Lamb, Lisa found herself thrust into the public eye. It was a moment of forced visibility, one where she chose to share her story in order to reclaim her voice. Lisa's decision to speak out revealed a side of their marriage that had been hidden from public view, giving insight into the emotional struggles she had faced for years. In her own words, she explained how she had come to realize that her emotional needs were not being met. In her interviews, Lisa painted a vivid picture of the isolation she felt. It was a gradual erosion, she recalled, not an abrupt fallout, but a slow drift apart. I loved Doug deeply, but he became more consumed with his work and less available to me. That's when the emotional intimacy that had once been the foundation of our relationship began to disappear. For Lisa, her marriage to Doug had gone from a loving partnership to an unbalanced dynamic in which she was left yearning for the emotional connection that had once been so strong between them. As a result, she began to feel invisible in the very relationship that she had once held dear. The aftermath of divorce, shock, and speculation. The announcement of Doug and Lisa's divorce sent shockwaves through the public, particularly among their clients and followers. After all, Doug had built his career around helping others preserve their marriages, and yet his own marriage had failed. It was a revelation that raised questions about the limitations of advice and therapy. Could someone truly help others while struggling in their own relationship? While the details of their divorce remained private, the timing of the separation, coupled with Doug's rapid remarriage to Joni Lamb, only deepened the intrigue surrounding the dissolution of his marriage. The timeline of Doug's remarriage sparked widespread speculation. Just months after his divorce from Lisa, Doug tied the knot with Joni Lamb, a renowned figure in the Christian broadcasting world. Joni, who had co-founded Daystar Television Network with her late husband, Marcus Lamb, was no stranger to public scrutiny. She had already faced intense grief following Marcus's untimely death in 2021, and her relationship with Doug brought both support and controversy. Some viewed their marriage as an inspiring story of love blossoming after personal loss, while others saw it as a hasty decision made in the wake of Doug's divorce. The quick transition from Doug's divorce to his new marriage raised difficult questions. Had Doug and Joni been involved emotionally before his marriage to Lisa ended? Was there an overlap in their relationships, or had they grown close after the split? While Doug and Joni's relationship was cloaked in the privacy of their shared faith, critics and observers could not help but wonder whether the emotional wounds from their previous relationships had been adequately healed before embarking on a new union. Joni Lamb, a widow's journey and a new beginning. Joni Lamb's journey was equally complex. A woman who had been married to Marcus Lamb for decades, she had already endured a profound loss. The death of Marcus, a respected leader in the Christian broadcasting community, left a gaping hole in her life and the Daystar network. Yet, Joni's resilience had been evident in how she continued to lead Daystar with grace, honoring her late husband's legacy while navigating her grief. She was not a woman to be easily broken, and many saw her relationship with Doug as a natural step forward, a way for both of them to heal and move forward. However, not everyone saw it that way. Critics pointed to the short time between Marcus's death and Joni's remarriage, suggesting that her relationship with Doug might have been too soon, both personally and publicly. Was it respectful to her late husband's memory, or was she merely seeking to fill the emotional void left by his passing? Joni's decision to marry Doug so quickly after Marcus's death led to a divide in public opinion. Supporters of Joni, however, argued that she was entitled to find love again, just as anyone who had suffered a loss was allowed to do. They viewed her relationship with Doug as a redemptive story of love emerging from the ashes of grief. Public reaction: navigating criticism and compassion. The public's reaction to Doug and Joni's marriage was a double-edged sword. On one hand, their supporters saw it as a new beginning, a healing partnership that allowed both of them to move on from their previous losses. For many, their relationship was a demonstration of resilience, a reflection of their shared faith, and a reminder that it was possible to find love even after profound loss. On the other hand, detractors felt that the swift nature of their union was a betrayal of the principles they had espoused, both publicly and privately. Doug, in particular, faced criticism for not being transparent about the reasons for his divorce from Lisa, and for the rapid pace at which he moved into a new marriage. For Lisa, the public scrutiny added an extra layer of emotional complexity. While some of the criticism was directed at Doug and Joni, much of it centered on her own personal pain. Her willingness to speak out gave her a platform to express the heartbreak she had experienced, but it also thrust her into the spotlight in a way that was uncomfortable and painful. Lisa had never asked to be the center of public attention, but her decision to share her story resonated with many who had faced similar heartbreak. Lessons in resilience and redemption. In the end, the story of Doug, Lisa, and Joni offers valuable lessons in resilience, forgiveness, and the complexities of love. Doug's career in marriage counseling and therapy, which once appeared unshakable in its foundation of commitment and intimacy, was tested by his own personal experiences. For Lisa, the process of healing has meant rediscovering her own identity and finding strength in her journey outside of her marriage. And for Joni, the journey is one of healing from grief and rebuilding her life with Doug, finding hope and redemption in their shared faith. This saga is a poignant reminder that no one is immune to the challenges of human relationships. Even the most experienced counselors face personal struggles that require patience, understanding, and time to navigate. Doug's story, and the stories of those involved in his life, are a testament to the fact that life is rarely black and white, and that true healing, whether in marriage or in personal growth, is a long and often complicated process. It is a journey filled with pain, but also with the potential for redemption and renewal.